Hello, everybody. This is Brandon Shutter with Kion, and today we're going to be creating an OU and a project utilizing the Kion Terraform provider as an example of a more advanced use case, but also a use case that all of our Kion customers would come across as OUs and projects are, the building blocks of, Kion. So what we need to do here is we need to go over to the Kion documentation. And because we are creating an OU, we need to go down to the Kion OU resource to see the schema that the Kion provider, Terraform provider is expecting. So it's going to need name, parent OU ID, permission scheme ID. And it also says that at least one owner user field or owner users need to be defined. So we're going to go ahead and include owner user groups in our Terraform. So going back to our IDE, I'm going to create a new file here. You don't need to do this. I'm just doing this as an example. As long as Terraform is running, or the file is ending in .tf, Terraform will run that. So we're going to go ahead and define the resource Kion OU, and we're going to give it a name of just OUs and projects. This naming is not actually the name of the OU. This is just the reference name within Terraform. We'll be utilizing this here later. So we need to set the various required fields, which is name, parent OU ID, which I know 0 is root, and we're going to name it permission scheme ID. I know 2 is for OU. We're going to name this just OU or Terraform created OU. And then I'm going to give it a owner users of ID equals 1. Okay. So next, I need to run a Terraform plan just to make sure that my syntax here is appropriate, which it is, right? So it's saying it's going to create an OU named Terraform created OU at the root OU and a permission scheme of 2 owned by the user group of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do Terraform apply. Again, I'll do a plan. I'm going to hit yes, I approve this change. Now, if I go up to my Terraform, or my Kion install rather, and I go to my OUs, you'll see here that there is a Terraform created OU right here. This is one that we just created. And you'll see there's nothing attached to this. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a project, and we're going to attach it to this particular OU. So in order to create a project, we need to go back to the Terraform documentation and see exactly what Terraform or what Kion provider needs out of us in our Terraform. So it requires a name, an OU ID, a permission scheme ID, and again, an owner users or owner group. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Terraform and type this out. So we have a resource Kion project. I'm going to name this just Terraform created project. Again, this is not the name of the project. This is just the name that Terraform utilizes. We're going to give it a name. Here we'll go ahead and give it Terraform created project. We'll give it a parent or OU ID. And this is where Terraform gets really powerful. And this is one of the huge advantages of using a Terraform provider, is that we can utilize the output of a previous resource as an input for this particular resource. So what we're going to do here is Kion OU. And it's grabbing the Kion OU resource and then the name that we provided it and .id. This pulls in the OU ID of this particular OU without us having to know it. Massive advantage to Terraform. And the permission scheme ID, I believe for projects is 3. This might be wrong, but we'll find out here in a second. I'm going to give it the same ownership that we gave the OU. So I'm running a Terraform plan. Blocks of owner user groups are not expected here. We go back to our documentation, and here is owner user group IDs. So user group IDs. Do a Terraform plan again. I see my syntax is now appropriate, and say, okay, cool. We're going to go ahead and create this project. And it automatically pulled in this OU ID of 13 without me typing 13 because it used the OU ID of this particular resource I created earlier. I'm going to go ahead and hit Terraform apply. Hit yes, I approve. Okay, well now that Terraform says that we have created our project, we're going to go back to our Kion application. We're going to go look up our projects. we'll see our Terraform created project right here, and we'll see that the parent OU is a Terraform created OU. So this is an example of how Terraform is so powerful. If I wanted to go and create another project utilizing the same ID, I go in here and just add a new resource and give it the same OU ID. And if I do Terraform apply again, and it'll say, look, it's going to create a new one. Are you sure? I hit yes. It just created a new project. If I go look at my projects, here is the created project 2. And again, the parent OU is Terraform created OU. So this is an example of how you can utilize Terraform Provider, as well as some more advanced Terraform functionality to do an inheritance. As always, I appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next video.